This pattern is number 39 within Pritt's book, and it's called The Old Master. Now, without being too unkind to dear old Mr. Pritt, the fly dressing seems to be somewhat of an anomaly. Now, if we take a look at his book and we look at the dressing, number 39, Old Master, hook size 1, which is today a modern number size 14. The dressing is wings hackled with a feather from the inside of a woodcock's wing. So far so good. Body, ash coloured silk wrapped over with heron herl. Again, pretty easy to judge. However, in his remarks he states that this is a capital killer from April to the end of August on warm days or in the evenings. Pretty random, pretty self-explanatory. However, here's the real crux of the matter. It was originally dressed by Bradley of Otley, and in his time he caught many heavy dishes of trout with it. It bears some resemblance to the Greenwell's Glory. And there we have the problem. When you look at the Greenwell's Glory, you put the Greenwell's Glory side by side with the Old Master, it's clear there is no resemblance between the two patterns. So what has happened? Well, we have to go back in time to a few years prior to Pritt's publication, where he's writing in the Yorkshire Post newspaper. And in his article of a few years earlier, he states that Mr. Bradley, well, he quotes Mr. Bradley as saying that his favourite fly was the Greenwell's Glory, and that the Greenwell's Glory was his old master. What Bradley means by this is that the Greenwell's Glory is his standby pattern. It's his favourite pattern, the one that he always goes to. So the dressing of the Old Master is not Bradley's fly. In Bradley's list there is no Old Master pattern, but there is a Greenwell's Glory. So Pritt has mixed up his earlier words with the flies from Bradley's list. So how's he done this? Well, again, we have to look at the book. And we see that number 39, the Old Master, is now followed by two patterns called number 40, the Stone Midge, and number 41, the Grey Midge. Now, my opinion is that Pritt has kind of mixed up these two patterns and come out with a new pattern called the Old Master. And if we look at the illustration within Pritt's book, you see that in the Old Master it actually has a herl head, which in his dressing, of course, there's no mention of a herl head. But in the Stone Midge and the Grey Midge, there are herl heads on the flies. The Stone Midge, the dressing is hackled with a feather from a peewit's neck, breast or rump, body ash coloured silk, dubbed sparingly with heron's herl. So here we've got the same body as the Old Master, head magpie herl. So again, similarities. Later on in the Grey Midge, it's hackled with a feather from a woodcock's breast. So again, we've got a mixture of woodcock. So it's probable that Pritt has mixed up the Stone Midge and the Grey Midge and produced the Old Master, and erroneously has attributed it to Bradley. So let us dress the Old Master, number 39, within Pritt's book. The dressing states a hook size 1, which is a modern size 14. For the body, he uses an ash coloured silk. Here I'm using a vintage spool of Purcell's gossamer. The body is dubbed with dark heron herl, and the wings or legs on an undercover hackle taken from the wing of a woodcock. So let's start dressing the fly. The easiest way to do it is just catching your silk directly behind the eye of the hook with 3 or 4 nice tight turns. Before snipping off the waist end of silk. Now, in order to keep a nice even underbody, it's imperative that we tie in the heron herl pretty much straight away. So take his heron herl and we basically just cut out a couple of fibres of heron herl. And as you can see, it's just a minute little slip. Trim off the end. And now with your tying silk, just mount in that heron herl with nice tight wraps of silk. Come down the hook shank as per usual to a point between the point of the hook and the end of the barb. Here I'm using a Partridge SUD2 barbless hook, so I'm quite happy with that length there. And now come straight back with your tying silk. Again, nice touching turns. And you want to end your tying silk just short of where you originally tied it in, which is there. So that gives you enough room to mount in your hackle. Then we take our hackle pliers and we wrap the heron herl, or if you want to use goose herl as a substitute, that's okay. And we wrap it in the same direction as we wrapped our silk. I personally don't twist my herls. I like them to be nice and neat. And there you can see the body of the fly is formed with the heron herl. Come to where you've just left your silk, and now trap that down with 2 turns of tying silk. Take your scissors and just cut off that waist end of herl. And it's important when you wrap the herl that you wrap it in the same direction as you did with your original silks. This is because when you come to tighten down on the silk at the end, because you're going in the same direction, you have an equal tension and it binds down in the same direction as the herl. Now we take our woodcock undercover feather and we simply expose the tip of the feather. Take your scissors and just trim that tip down. Now, when dressing this pattern, I like to just strip one side of the hackle. And then I mount it in by the tip directly behind, or directly in front should I say, of where the heron herl is finished. And now, because I've stripped one side of the hackle, I'm using that that blind side of hackle here, basically as the leading edge of my hackle. I come in with 3 or 4 nice tight wraps of hackle. Traditionally the North Country flies were densely hackled, and it is today's norm. Once you're happy with the density of the hackle, come in with your tying silk and trap down a hackle stalk with 2 nice firm wraps of silk. If you want as an insurance policy, you can now take another turn of silk directly in front of that hackle stalk, which has the effect of cleaning up the eye of the hook, and then just simply snip off that waste end of stalk. Now come with your whip finish tool and simply take a nice 2 or 3 turn whip finish. You don't need any more turns for your whip finish. You really want a nice, neat and small head to the fly. Trim off your silk and then just gently tidy up those hackle fibres. And there you have Pritt's Old Master.